Yes. Nice. Is everyone happy here with the door open? If it gets too drafty, specifically for you here, you let me know, Harte. Can always close it, but a little bit of fresh air won't hurt. I think I'm actually mostly in the draft, so I'll make a call. Do we all have something to sit on? If you want to, you can always just give your hips a little bit of space. A cross-legged or a kneeling position is all good. It's nice to be back both online. I mean, they haven't had yoga since I left to Bali, the online people, because Angela was happy to teach here, but yeah, good to have you, Paul and Emma, and good to have you guys here and some visitors, always nice. Where are you from, Ina? Germany. You like it here in Scarborough? Yeah. Have you been here before? Yeah. No. We all fell in love with Scarborough. It's not difficult. Can you hear me well, Emma and Paul? Because I have a new headset. Oh, good. Wonderful. Okay, let's, one of the things I think I've said this on my birthday, or I've chatted with some of the people. One of the things that I get reminded of when I go to Bali, I've just returned from Bali, so I haven't seen all of these people for like a month or so, is the 3 pillars that their society is based on. And the 3 pillars in Bali that holds the society is a daily connection in some way to what you could call the divine. There can be, you can feel that in your own way. But basically for them, if you go there, there's a lot of rituals and ceremony. If you eat something, you take a moment to be grateful that you've got food on your plate, and it's embedded in everything. They even put offerings on your car and on your scooter. It's like a blessing. Let me be safe when I drive this. So everything becomes a little bit slower. Before you get into the car, there's this moment of like, let me be safe. Let this food nurture me. So you walk through life in this way. That's just my interpretation, and it gives a extra flavor to life. Then the second pillar is community. And I think specifically here in Scarborough, we're very lucky to have a community where you can just call your neighbor at night. I have a problem, and they pitch, which sometimes even take that for granted. And I'm very blessed that we have that here in Scarborough. But also just thinking about your own community and how much time you invest in and with them. And then thirdly, nature. So they try on a daily basis to respect those 3 pillars. And I think it's beautiful. So I just wanted to share that as a transfer from Bali back to South Africa. Let's, as a ritual, close our eyes, take a nice breath in, and a nice sigh out, and sit still for a moment. So yoga is in a way connecting to the divine you, to your inner world, to pausing, to feeling, to connecting, and specifically these slower classes. A way to connect to this moment and your being is by focusing on your breath. A place, and I can only speak from my own experience, where attention builds up for me when I've had a busy day is in my jaw. So maybe open the jaw or let it relax. You could even massage your jaw joints a little bit, touch and connection if that feels comfortable for you. Or you can just kind of let your tongue relax inside your mouth. And as a ripple effect, let that relax your cheeks, your brain, the skin on your face. Slow down the breath and deepen the breath. Some days we wake up, and until we arrive here on the mat, we notice I haven't taken a conscious breath today. So be with that conscious breathing. How much can we be in the experience of stillness, of pause, of feeling? Of the subtleness, of the movements of the ribs of the rib cage, the softening with each exhale, the inviting of the new on each inhale. Take another deep breath in and a soft breath out. A moment of gratitude, another ritual, if that is something that you also enjoy doing, an intention setting, or just, as I said, a moment of gratitude for community, for friends, for this life, with its ups and its downs, its challenges, its flow moments. Every breath and every day is a gift. Every connection with another human being or moments in nature are gifts, little presents along this journey called life. Let's slow down, take care of ourselves, and just breathe. Thank you for being here. Let's come onto our backs. You can use, we'll start in Supta Baddha Konasana. You can use a prop under your shoulders. Those wooden blocks, if they're too much and you want to put like a towel over it, or then they're a little bit softer. So place it right underneath your heart. Just feel into it. See if your head is okay on the floor. Otherwise, place something under your head. And your body will tell you. So one of the other nice things here is that we get to listen. We get to have a bit of a conversation. And then you can have the soles of the feet touching and the knees pull out. If that for some reason doesn't feel nice or you need more support, I'm going to be extra compassionate and gentle with myself today and give myself some support. Why not? And once you've settled in, so here in Scarborough, if you're not sure and you want me to come check on you, just raise your hand. But you guys have done this pose before. So Dave, you have your feet extended, which is fine. Actually, Jeremy as well. You can stay like that, or you can have the soles of the feet to touch, which is an opening through the groin and the hips. It's up to you. Yeah, that's nice. And then we commit to stillness and breath. The inside of our bodies, all our organs, our blood flow, the lymphatic system, the breath system, even to a smaller level of cells, microorganisms, bacteria, flora inside your gut. There is an entire world inside you that is alive. We all have different visual images, but one of the most beautiful images here I find in Scarborough is when you look into these little ponds that sits between the rocks, and there's a whole universe in there with little fish and little shells and little seaweed. And it's only, you only get to see it and experience it if you stop and pause and look. And the same applies with the connection to your deeper layers of your being. To stop and breathe and feel. And fascinate on all that lives inside you. And the breath is one of the functions of the body that we can change by just asking ourselves to slow down the breath will slow down. As a result, the heart starts to slow down. The mind might start to also declutter a little bit. But it's one of the functions that we can alter, change. And by changing the breath to change the energy existent on your mat. We stay in stillness for a couple more rounds of breath. Sighs are always welcome. They're a lovely way to just kind of slide into that softness, into that surrender. Ah. Take one more deep breath in. And then exhale softly out of the mouth or the nose. Bring your hands behind your skull and just lift your head up. Chin can come to your chest. I'm gonna move my bolster away so we can all roll onto the side. And this is a nice way, come into a seated position. So one thing that is very healthy to do is to connect with your body by slowly tapping your fingertips. So you can maybe start here, just on your sternum, and just slowly tap with your fingertips, with your eyes closed, and notice the parts that feel bony. So you go into an inner experience. Maybe you go towards the shoulders and feel. Maybe you can hear the sound when you touch the bone and when you touch the sternum and when you touch more of the meaty part, and then run that up your neck. So start to softly tap the back of the neck, which is also a part of your vagus nerve. And then behind your ears. If you prefer to rub behind your ears rather, do so. And then you take that tapping and you just bring it around your jaw joints. Do this with your eyes closed, really nice and soft. As if your skin is an instrument or a place, and just go around your bones under your eyes, sides of your head, maybe the back of the skull. Little drumming. You can even, you know how the hairdressers sometimes like pull with your hair. Very, very good for stress release. Just to touch your skull, touch your hair. So you can either tap your face, tap on the side. And it's not just tapping, it's as you go slow, you start to connect with like different parts and be interested in how it feels, how the different parts of your skull you can explore. Hey, here there's more hair, there's less skin, there's more resonance. We do this for another couple of moments, another couple of rounds of breath to the back. You've got nails, just be gentle. Okay, last little bit of tapping. And then just let your hands rest somewhere. And feel the ripple effect of that. As if you are, initially it almost feels like you're still tapping. Your skin may be glowing. What is the ripple effect of that touch? Take 3 more rounds of breath. And then come onto your knees. You can take a block or a prop to the front of your mat. If you have a sensitive knee, you might want to roll up your mat. It's a nice feeling, I think. So you kind of go quite inside. So Carlos and Devin, the guys I'm working with that I've arrived, they do a lot of these things. So you connect to your deeper world. If you want to put your left knee on a little bit of a patch, you may, and step your right foot forward. Now, I know that in yin we say a lot of, we lose a lot of stillness, but here, and I would invite you to close your eyes, I'd like you to just move really slowly. You can, if you're like, I don't really know where to go, there is no right or wrong. You can also have your hands flat. Maybe start with a soft sway from right to left. And there is no right or wrong, there is no judgment, but just feel into your hips. So when you go to the right, do you feel it more in the front? Do you feel it more on the left one, on the side one? And then you can even start to create circles, small circles. And do so with a sense of curiosity, as if this is the very first time you're discovering your hips, you're discovering this movement. And let's not forget about the breath. So you can even take a breath in, bring your hips a little bit to the right. Come back forward, almost like the same way we were tapping our skull. Feel inside your body. Feel which muscles activate. Maybe notice some resistance, some tightness. One part of the body is not better than the other. It's just an exploration, an experience of feeling and breathing. I talk to my organs, or I at least have an inner conversation. It's like, hey, how are you doing? Am I feeding you well? Are my intestines like stressed, or is there tightness? The same you can do here. It's like, hello, hips. How are we today? Maybe you stay in a place and you're like, oh yeah, I just want to hang out here for like 3 or 4 breaths. There's no particular instruction here. It's more a personal exploration, a feeling in. And then you can come forward. And again, remember, we go to around an 8 out of 10. It's not about pushing. This practice is not about pushing. It's about softness. So if you want to place your elbows on something, you may. And we'll stay here for, let's say 3 minutes, because we've been in the hips for a week. Remember that this is a place of healing, of kindness, of noticing, and of noticing where you want to be. And if you want to completely come out of the shape that serves you, then that's what you do. Knowing your edges, knowing your boundaries, and acting upon it is one of the powers that we've been given in life. First, we need to listen to that inner voice, that intuition. And it's possible that feelings and thoughts arise on the mat and you're like, no, I don't want to think that. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel sad. I don't want to feel frustrated. I don't want to think about that. But let it just be there without attaching to the emotion. The emotions come and go. But suppressing them and pushing them away, they'll come back. So just go, okay, I'm sad. It's okay. Or I'm frustrated. Or there's a thought that keeps coming up, and I don't have to know why. It's probably my subconscious communicating to my conscious. Digesting life, these things that arise, this means that we are digesting them, for them to just slip away. Stay with your breath. Oh, good, Emma, you look beautiful in that light. Nice. So I find that when I close my eyes, I go inwards even more. There's an outer world, there's an inner world, and they communicate. The outer environment influences the inner environment dances and influences the outer environment. But let's explore that inner world as much as we explore the outer world. Your own unique voice, your own unique life journey, truths, beliefs, feelings, dreams, worries. It's the different elements and the different colors of life. Take 2 more rounds of breath here. And then slowly bring your hands under your shoulders. Slowly come back. And you can bring your both knees to the top of the mat. And for a moment, place the knees together. Then broaden the sit bones. So rather than tucking your tailbone, you're trying to have an open bum. There's a little bit of a hollowing. And then you place your hips onto your heels and close your eyes. A moment of pause within the slowing down. Soften the jaw. Go into the sensations. From there, you can open your eyes. And we do a variation of what they're called swan or half pigeon, depends on what style of yoga. So you bring your left leg behind. It is kind of yin-ish, so it would be more like swan. But rather than trying to bring that foot very much forward, so the knee, when it's in a straight angle and it's closed, is at its safest. Here, it's at its safest. So as soon as you start to turn the 2 parts of the leg, the knee becomes a little bit more like, ooh, what's going on? You know, it's the same when you do sports like tennis, you know, it's like, that's actually like, well, cycling, it's actually quite safe for the knee. So we're going to keep the knee safe by maybe bringing the foot a little bit out, because most people don't feel it here in the hip, but you don't need to go much. And then that left knee is going to turn inwards. It's almost like you're taking that hip or that bone and bringing it inside. So the heel can actually flop a little bit out to the side. Just feel where that heel sits and if it is not bothering you in any way. And then come over your right leg. So you're going to walk a little bit over to the right. And then find a place for your head. Even use your fists and breathe. Notice what you feel and where you feel what. It doesn't even have to have a name. I am feeling sensations in my right bum. I am feeling my breath enter my body and exit my body. Those are sensations. Maybe emotions come up. You are not your feelings. They are moments that come and go. And a range of emotions are also like the colors of the rainbow. You have favorite colors, less favorite colors, emotions you feel comfortable with, and others that feel more challenging. And even within the, if we have to call them heavier emotions or joyful emotions, we deal with them differently. Some people feel comfortable with a feeling of anger. They can just go, yeah, I'm feeling angry, it's fine. And others really don't like that, or sadness. It's interesting. It's the way you are conditioned, the way you grew up, if you've been exposed to these emotions, if you've had to deal with them, and how you dealt with them. But it's the awareness. Soften the jaw, stay with your breath. And for the last couple of breaths, you can stay or bring your head to the center and notice if it feels, it's just a shift of your upper body, but does it feel different in that right leg? Is there any tingling sensations? Stay with your breath. Slowly lift your head, come onto your hands, and you might just already start to roll onto that right side. Oh. Bring the left leg to the front. I actually feel like stretching it out a bit. Give it a little bit of a shake. Let's change sides. It will be nicer for that knee. So you're going to bend your left knee. Lots of flies, huh? I'm going to mirror you. So you're bending your left knee, that one. I like to put a block underneath and then walk your hips back. Walk your hips back. So literally like, well, I'm walking to the back of the community center. Bye. Yeah. And then relax your right foot. Look at your right foot. Take a deep breath in. And then you start to walk over the leg. And once you reach a point where you're like, okay, I want to relax, you can. If you have another prop and you want your brain to relax, oh, this fits perfectly, I think. Kind of. There you go. It might take you a couple of moments to find your perfect shape. Relax that right foot. Now, if you would have to indicate, you might not know the names of the muscles, but which part of your body is now talking to you most? Is it your big toe? Is it your hamstring? Is it your knee? Is it your waist? What is drawing your attention? And can you breathe into that area? Receiving the air, the life force. Surrendering and softening. The yoga mats, as soon as we've discovered it and have committed to it, it just keeps calling us. And it's not just the physical. It's sometimes difficult to explain to people that have not done yoga why we do it. And it's the only thing I can say, it's like you have to experience it. You feel good. Your body is like, yeah, thank you. This is exactly what I need. And that's all. You know, it's that internal conversation. And then that internal voice, that inner voice just says, come, let's go back to the mats. Sometimes we forget for a while, but there is this calling of the soul, this calling of that inner voice that goes like, yeah, it's time, it's time. To digest life, to slow down. We try to put labels on it, to put words on it, but in the end, it's a feeling, it's an experience of being here, of slowing down, of connecting. Again, just trying to find words to put to an experience. And for people that have not done yoga, it's almost like you've got this, I don't know, this beautiful plate of food, which they've never had before, and you're trying to describe it, but you can't describe it, you have to eat it. And only when you eat it do you understand how yummy it is. So be in the experience, feel your breath, notice the sensations. Slowly roll up. Bring your body, upper body back up. And just extend the legs. If you prefer to keep your eyes closed, sometimes when you're in an experience, you're like, oh, I just want to stay. So then keep your eyes closed. I can try to cue you or describe what we're doing without you really having to look. So you can really stay inwards. We're going to come to the knees. And if you need that little bit of patting for the right knee, create that for yourself. It's the left leg that comes forward. And we start with a curious exploration. Do you like your hands flat? Or do you prefer fingertips? Notice the sensations of the palms on the floor when you bring more weight to the right hand, when you shimmy your hips from right to left. It's like, hey. And then notice even when you do that, it's like you're walking on your hands, what it does, how the hands connect to the shoulders and the shoulder blades, into your spine. And then do the same, pay attention to the foot. If you roll a little bit to the side, what does it do to the inner ankle, the sensations in the knee, the inner knee, the hips? And maybe you start to draw circles coming forward on the inhale or exhale. Maybe it's clockwise, maybe it's super small circles. Maybe just stay here. And it almost looks like you're not moving, but if you find that interesting, it's fine. That's why we're here, just to feel in. Do you remember how the other hip felt? I don't remember. Some sensations feel relatively familiar. The right hip flexor, the front of the thigh, when I come forward, it's like, yeah, ooh, interesting. And then we stay somewhere. Pick a point where you're like, I find this an interesting shape. It doesn't have to be a particular shape. It doesn't have to be mine, it's yours. And just take 3-4 rounds of breath there. And then come forwards. Block might come in handy. Yeah, nice, Dave. Awesome, Jeremy. That's sitting now. I've actually really missed you. It's good to be here. I told you online people were probably getting a UPS, huh? So if you also have a UPS, then we can just, regardless of the load shedding, we can at least do our yoga together. It's just great news. Thanks to the donations of the people here in Scarborough, actually. They did yoga on Saturday, they donated. So isn't that community? That's awesome, eh? It's connection. Breathe. And I often get people that if they haven't been on the yoga mat for a while, they go to the yoga mat and they're like, oh, I needed this more than I thought I did. What does that mean? That inner voice going, yay, having a little celebration of self-care, of breath. It's for a reason this practice has been around for thousands of years. Many people have benefited from it. It's still around through the generations, thousands of years, with the wisdom being passed from teacher to teacher, from teacher to student, from students explaining what they experience. It's just a beautiful storytelling, actually. Slowly bring your hands back under your shoulders. Crawl back. Release the knees and come to a seat at the top of the mat. Spread the sit bones. And then with that wide approach of the sit bones, come into a seated position. Sit still for a moment. Notice your breath, your beautiful breath, your inhales, your exhales. Now let's take a breath in together, fill up slowly, and then sip in a little bit more air, and a little bit more air, and hold the breath. Soften the jaw. Let it float almost up towards the top of the skull, like that living balloon, and then open the mouth and softly release. 2 more like that. Pranayama, breathe in slowly, and then sip in a little bit more air, a little bit more. Your full hold. Maybe you feel some floating up towards your skull. Let that kind of sit there around your brain, the fullness of your body. And release out of the mouth. One more time. Just a slow breath in. And then when you think you're full, take another little sip of air in and hold. And release. And bring your hands to the floor and we slide our right leg back. Little angle of that right left knee. Turn the right knee a little in. So the right heel flops over onto the side. And we'll start with our body over our left leg. So you can walk a little bit over towards the left. Let your head rest on something if that feels better. It's a very meditative practice. And having a conversation, an inner dialogue with yourself. It's not always nice. Sometimes it's like, oh, interesting. And sometimes it's like, who is talking inside there? Why are you saying these things? And that's fine. There's no judgment. Your inner voice has to sometimes be critical, but also observe if we can have some thoughts of gratitude, counting our blessings. The goal is not to necessarily only always have positive thoughts and never criticize anyone with your thoughts. But we can choose what we say and how we act. So our inner world and our outer world don't necessarily have to be a one-on-one relationship. We try to be authentic. We don't want to lie. You know, that's not what I mean. But if we feel angry on the inside, we don't have to scream at our wives. We can say, I'm sorry, today I'm feeling angry. I need some time by myself and I'll come back. Or, you know, that's in our own control. It's a play, it's a dance, the inner energy, the outer energy. They feed each other, they feed off each other. And the energy that you bring into this world will kind of reflect back. It's like a mirror. If we are vulnerable, it gives people the permission to be vulnerable around us. If we are compassionate and a little bit softer towards ourselves and each other, it almost is a giving of permission to the other person to also now and again step into this place. It's a big thing I had to learn because I was always, I can do this all by myself, I'm tough. And then when I started to soften, and it actually brought more depth to relationships. You need to feel safe amongst each other. That's the biggest thing. It's safe ground to be able to go like, hey, can I show you all my true colors? And can I share all the facets of life with you? And it is actually beautiful. You can come back to the center if you prefer to just finish the last couple of rounds of breath here in the middle. Feel the difference. Oh, that's yawn. It's good. It means that the inner world is starting to slow down. The central nervous system starting to come into rest and recovery. Coming to the end of the day, end of the week. Perfect timing to just pause and ask ourselves, hey, how am I actually doing? Remind Paul, we have load shedding at 6. We don't have the UPS yet. So if I suddenly disappear, that's why. So you guys, thank you for being here. I won't be here next week, but you can think of me because I'll be running my African X next week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I will see you on Monday and otherwise the week after. But I'll be here still. But I just don't want to leave without saying goodbye because it might be out of my control. All right, slowly roll onto your side. We still have a couple of minutes, but I thought of it now. Come onto your side and just bring your legs to the front. It says surf on your t-shirt. Ah, lovely. All right, so you can bend your right leg if you want a bit of support, and then walk those sit bones back, creating that space. Take a deep breath in. Hello, beautiful toes, and then come over your leg. Your surf will be even better tomorrow after this, depending on the waves. Hmm. So maybe for the next week, if you're interested in that Bali way of living, it's three things. Some kind of ritual to just make you realize how beautiful this life is, that there's a bigger picture, that there's a divine energy inside you, outside you. They just call it God, but God is just a word. It can mean, you can interpret it that in whatever that means to you. Could be love, you know, could be like something mystical and beautiful that's almost poetry, the unknown, there where the magic and the myths start to, you know, exist. And then community. What can we do to connect with our community, which it could be a small community, your family, or the bigger community, your village, your neighbors, or even bigger, the country, the other people that might not necessarily be part of your direct community, but that are part of this country, that we are connected to, that we share this earth with. And this third pillar, Mother Earth, nature. It's an interesting and simple one, but beautiful. Slowly roll up and just come into your final resting pose in your own way. If you have something to cover your eyes, it might be nice. If you want to use a bolster, anything that makes you go, rest. I'm just going to spray some nice scents around. If you feel some bit of mist, and that you know it's not raining. Just adds to your relaxation, to tapping into sensations. To letting go. Take a deep breath in and a nice breath out. Can you notice a difference in how you feel? If you feel more grounded, calmer, more connected, less distracted, more in your body. You connect with all the layers of your being, your body, your mind, your heart, your soul. You can start to stretch your arms overhead. Oh, any movements that your body is just asking for. Almost feel like leaving you just to feel and to explore. And in the next couple of rounds, you've got time. You just roll into the side. Move slowly, gently, so you stay with that energy, that slower energy, the noticing, the experience, every experience. And maybe just see before we eat tonight. I know some people, when I was young, my parents used to pray before dinner. I don't do that anymore, but a lot of people in Bali, they just take a moment, 1 moment, 2 breaths to look at the food. Other people don't even need to see it. And just appreciating that that was Mother Earth that has provided that for us. So I now actually just take a moment of conscious, like, okay, thank you, Mother Earth, for giving this to me. And secondly, let this nurture me. Let this nurture and heal me. And it's beautiful because you eat rather than just putting it into your mouth. You actually eat and go like, you know, this was a gift to me. And we can approach life like that in small little things. Like the Balinese people, they have a big influence on my life. I'm not saying they're right with everything, but those little things, they just always remind me to pause, to appreciate even the smallest things. Deep appreciation for you being here, for your energy in the space and online. From my heart to yours, namaste. We got some load shedding grace time, so I can say goodbye to you guys again. I'll see you either Monday or otherwise the week after, it's at the 23rd. Take good care. Bye.